get this underway, of course. And spawning in the top right, we do have SlayerSCoCa. Not quite in the GSL, but is still one of the fierce Zerg players that Slayers have, going up against his opponent, who is actually in Code A. And Monsters, like you said, his form's really good. He's beat a lot of players throughout this tournament. He beat Anori on the way, he beat Mia on the way, and he also brought down Startail Hack too. A nice little Terran player in there too. But he can't take anything away from Coca, who beat MKP.
Oh, okay.
He beat Gummyho and also Terrier. So both of these guys in the top 8 so far of this tournament going to gain themselves a lot of points for TSL4. But if they could go ahead and win it, they absolutely deserve it. Anybody will. The amount of players they've had to go through here.
To get this far in the Korean qualifier is absolutely ludicrous. Like, the names, you just fire it off. There is no easy round. I'm trying to think which round of that would be considered the easy one. It's really none of them. To beat Marine King is absolutely an accomplishment in and of itself, just by itself. I could lose 5 rounds in a tournament, but if my one win is Marine King, it's like, well,
absolutely.
Now this will determine, of course, the winner of the best of 3. It's a 1v1 map, which is again interesting with that Overlord speed upgrade. They get there really fast. That sometimes prompts the hatch first gameplay, which it looks like we're going to see at least out of. Well, okay, it's both of them.
And with the Overlords being so fast now, you actually don't really need a drone scout in this matchup. You don't really need a drone scout in hardly any matchups really as Zerg now. Maybe some 2-player maps against Terran where you could get 2 wrecks, but aside from that, you actually don't need a drone scout, which is great for your economy. You're able to get hatch first. We are seeing Monster go for the extractor first here, and then leading into the spawning pool. So super greed of him. But his opponent is actually going for spawning pool first here. So over the builds here, I of course am going to like Monster's build a little bit more. The extractor first. What really is the gain of getting that spawning pool out 5-10 seconds later over his opponent, which is absolutely nothing really at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of that game number 1 discussion we had about speed versus extra larva that's being played out here as well. The faster spawning pool does equate a faster queen, which means a faster inject. But we are talking, last time was 40 seconds, this time it's going to be 15 or 20. So I actually think shouldn't have too much of an impact. I think one thing a lot of Zerg players at home need to pay attention to, and I always say this when I commentate ZVZ, but it's something that actually eludes a lot of people. Notice the Overlord spread. They're going to sprinkle the middle of the map and kind of create a breadcrumb trail to each other's base. And that's because they want to keep tabs on those lings. Lings are so important in the early game. They need, not just aggression-wise, but okay, are you building roaches up that ramp? They need to run past and suicide to find out that kind of information.
And with Zerglings with Zergling speed, it really is a glimpse of the minimap. And if you miss it with just one Overlord, you're screwed. So you actually need Overlords in every single direction where they could run from here. So we are going to have the speed out earlier here from of course MVPMonster. And the speed is going to follow, but like we said, it's going to be a little bit lower. So in exactly 26 seconds or something difference between these two guys. So there is that timing window available, for him to run in, to scout. But I don't think we'll see too much from that, to be honest here. Neither of them throwing down a Billion S yet. I think they will do as soon as they hit 50 gas. It's kind of needed that you have to throw down the Billion S, because you can just die to Zerglings alone if you don't.
Yeah, interesting. Both of them are actually underutilizing the gas. I only have 2 on there, which has me thinking that they're going to go for just speed and then kind of, well, I'm going to eat my words right away. Actually, there's a Painlink nest right now for both the players. But I don't know, maybe the 2 on the gas, do you think that means more defensive play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not banking up gas here, so I don't think we'll see any aggression. Because actually, if you both go for mirror builds, it's almost like a 4-gate when it happens, right? You both kind of get shut down. One guy has a queen there to defend, one guy has a spine crawler to defend. So we're actually having exactly mirrored. So we're not really going to see any aggression from them. So the Bailey Nest is there just in case something happens, because if it isn't there, then you can get overrun. But with it there, they both equalize each other out, to be honest.
I almost like the psychology of best of 3s, as we do have these links from Monster coming in here. They're going to get a full look at the base. And the red guy might die, but usually they get out of there. I like this. Ooh, does he get a drone?
That's nice.
He does get a drone. That's kind of nice. Little extra incentive for that. But I like the psychology of best of 3s, because usually game 3 is where people bust out their most conservative and safe build, because it's the one they're least sure about. But of course, it's the most severe one result-wise. But then there's guys like White Raw who walks around with 35-pound balls, and they actually, it's always Game 3 or Game 5 or Game 7 where they bust out the proxy gates or something crazy like that.
Taking full advantage of you using the conservative build.
Exactly.
Both of these guys going for a single evolution chamber here. I mean, going for a single evolution chamber could mean that they're saving the gas towards faster layer, faster tech, really. And with the missile test coming out, so we could see both of these guys go for a roach kind of defense into a third base hit. But neither of them have started a layer yet, so, well, there we do just actually have the Roach Warren come down from Munster, and the layer thrown down and Roach Warren coming down at the same time, of course, for his opponent. But both of them actually need to take a third base right now. If one of them takes it and the other doesn't, the other player naturally will fall behind, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to disrupt an opponent's third base at this stage of the game. You've got lots of drones, you've got units out, Roaches aren't going to walk across the map here, and especially if your SlayerSCoCa with creep almost extended to the third base, absolutely no reason to not take that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. That's something that was actually kind of developed in the European ZVZ scene, where that fast third was kind of worked into the metagame a long time ago. But it's interesting watching both these players, because right now, I feel like to a certain extent they're doing the same build. It's just disjointed in the different ways they get there.
Yeah,
like one guy's layers faster, one guy's upgrades
This
faster.
guy's not going layer, he's going all in.
Oh,
so
shit.
Munster's going for like a 2-base all in, like Roach bailing +1 timing against his opponent who has taken layer. That's the only difference at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't
here.
notice that. Well, that's a huge difference. He's no layer, no third. But if you look at the supply, he's, what is that? Oh, no, never mind. It's 94 versus 69 minus.
Yeah, a lot of roaches coming. And third base gets cancelled here.
Oh.
He's teching up and saving gas ready for infestors too. So he could actually die to this timing. And I'm just going to quickly check his vision. I don't think he's actually saw this layer in a very long time. He has to put 2 and 2 together. See, no third base, realizing that, oh, there's roaches coming across the map. I think he has to build spine crawlers. Otherwise, he's going to have a very, very hard time in holding this. And MVPMonster could right out win this victory.
Well, it's all on the line here, like you said. I mean, it's going to be so... what?
He is going layer, but he's not basically all in, but he's got something to fall back on here.
Which I think's an interesting choice in this scenario, because that layer is so delayed. It's almost 10 minutes when it starts, and the fourth gas. Interesting timing here. He is going to push forward. He's going for the rocks.
Yeah.
Infestors will not be a part of this, despite having the infestation pit. He is building 2 more spine crawlers, so like you said, I think he knows, oh, there's where all that gas going in, banelings, and they're going to wander around in front of the roaches, and as they die, they'll pop. But look at that, defensive banelings of his own, and Coca seems to be prepared.
I think the layers come down because I think he feels that he can't do this, but we're going to find out if he can now. Banelings go in. Decent spread there, coming down, of course, by SlayerSCoCa, and look at the arc he has. He has the high ground advantage, spine too, and absolutely shuts that down. There is a third base coming down for his opponent as well, and I think that he felt that as soon as he saw the third base cancelled, his opponent took down on 2 base, that this was not going to work. And now that it hasn't worked, and there's a bunch of overlords in the center map, it has failed. Now his layer is late. His roach speed is late. His infestors are late. Everything right now is in advantage for Coca now, who can take a third base. He can get his infestors out and research pathogen glands, and is in great driving mode in this game now.
In driving mode is exactly what he's going to do. He's walking across the map, even somehow actually diverting, or excuse me, dodging the overlords as it were. But to your point, like, I think Monster, very interesting. He's like saving up for a timing, but then as he's hitting the timing, he's spending money on a third hatch, a layer, an extra gas. Like, I really don't like it. I think it's kind of nonsensical. And honestly, with this concave and the faster speed upgrade for Coca right now, I think this game might be over right now.
Yeah, very well could be. There's a lot of reinforcements coming, but they're only Zerglings. They won't do anything here, and there's the drones being pulled off, and what a great, spectacular defense there by SlayerSCoCa, who read it well, is in a great position now. Even though he's not going to flat out kill his opponent, he's so far ahead now. He's killed drones, he's 10, 15 drones ahead, third base ahead, and MVPMonster's playing from behind. Absolutely, he's playing from behind. He hasn't even got, well, he has got his infestation pit behind. Upgrades are, did he? Yeah, just finished with 1-1 upgrades, and his opponent's just now researching 2-2. But right now, Coca doesn't need to end the game. He can basically say, all right, man, where's that third base? Oh, mine's basically finished. And he can go in, he can tickle that third base, he's got roach speed as well. And even though the supplies are relatively equal, as soon as we do have the infestors come into play, which I think is going to be the thing that to tip the scales properly in favor of his opponent.
Well, they actually both are upgrading pathogen glands in a fairly similar fashion. If you look at this, their harvesters are kind of similar. I'm not quite sure. This is what I was talking about, Paul. By all rights, I really feel like Monster should be behind.
Well, he is with the third base, I guess. That's like
but
the
by
one
a
thing.
fraction. I mean, okay, so that is the advantage. CoCa has that advantage, but drone count was similar, upgrades were similar, roach count was similar. Like, I guess I understated Monster's understanding of that timing and where he needs to go from there. I do agree with you. Obviously, CoCa is ahead of the third, but as we see Monster saturating and the supply is remaining fairly within reason, the lead was not that high actually.
Yeah, it's not that high, and you know, he actually has the lead in terms of supply at the moment. That is actually in roaches, or a couple more roaches than his opponent. But yeah, the economy is more in favor of CoCa right now, with a faster 5th and 6th gas, which will enable him to tech up, add more infestors, do things like borrowed infestors, which we're actually seeing come out now from the natural, leading across 3 borrowed infestors. Absolutely no detection at the moment. 3 spines crawlers coming down because he knows that he has to protect his third base as he's trying to play catch up with drones. But with these infestors making their way across, he can actually throw infested Terrans on absolutely each mineral line, main, natural, and third. And it doesn't matter where they come down, they will do damage. No Overseer, no Spore Crawlers. He could actually be in trouble here.
Well, he's going to get, I mean, like you say, he's going to be the first one to that punch. And that's actually a really big deal. Because once you get those infestors in there, an Overseer will get made, but your actions get taxed so heavily. And not to mention the actual losses themselves as well. So here's the infested Terrans. Actually fairly underwhelming at the natural, but the main is the real story. There's a lot of infested Terrans there. And we might even have an attack at the third at the same time. But it looks like some damage is being done to Monster.
He's pulled all the roaches across, and now Monster is like, oh, there's the big army coming across, and it looks like he will get there just in time. And CoCa can't stay. He knows his infestors out. He's not stupid and isn't going to sit on the ramp waiting to be fungal here. But these infested Terrans are doing a lot of damage, swinging the supply difference in clear favor here of his opponent, who now is currently sitting at 2-0. But look, he's actually starting melee upgrades here. Yeah. Clear sign that he wants to go over into Broodlers most likely, as Trans sneezes on stream. Thanks very much, Trans. And we will continue with this game now. A lot of drones in production, use drones all over the place. If we look at the drones lost, 10 drones killed there, but great little special tactics pulled out.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason why we're seeing Monster actually stay within reason here, supply-wise, is he's just focused on roaches and infestors. That's all he's doing. But meanwhile, we have a bit of a transition happening here. CoCa is actually making more spine crawlers and focusing less on roaches at the moment. And I think he's going to make that transition you talked about, but he's kind of defending up for it, and that's really smart play.
Can't believe there's 2 infestors still in the main and natural, or, you know, combined through both there. But yeah, the transition will come in shortly. The hive will begin shortly too. But right now we do have Monster walking across the map with a relatively large army. Is currently sitting on 1-1 upgrades, +2 attack, is near to be finished. His opponent's just at 2-0 with the melee upgrade for the Lings here, which are also used to tear down hatcheries too.
Yeah.
But a lot of infestors for both these guys. So it's all going to be about position.
Overlord speed upgrade. Interesting. CoCa's getting Overlord speed. I'm not really sure about that. I mean, what are your thoughts? What is that for?
Well, absolutely no idea at the moment. Well, I have no idea what he's planning to do there.
Yeah, it would be like drop in Overlord speed if that's what you're going to do.
But Roach is getting pushed away. Bora does go down. But right now, the army is very much split up here for CoCa, who has infestors in all around. He has borrowed units all around. And at the main time, he's still got a lot of infestors sitting back at home. Yeah.
The main... No, well, maybe it wasn't.
Well, he's only got 20 energy on both of these infestors, so he's continually throwing infested Terrans down.
It's good harass. I mean, like I was saying, it's not going to kill the base. You're not going to see one infestor rather bring a hive down or something like that. But what it does do is it constantly says, "Hey, Monster, here's your attention," which opens up opportunities for CoCa to do things like snipe a fourth or move spine crawlers forward, secure his own fourth. But he is controlling the pace of the game right now, and this is looking to be a big-ass CVZ, man.
This is crazy. We have the Hydra and the Hive starting now for Monster. Hydras are great units. Really, just sprinkling them into the back of your army adds so much actual value to it. You know, the amount of DPS. But look how many spine crawlers that CoCa's throwing down. He's got a Nidus Worm on the way as well. That must be what the Overlords are for, the Overlord speed, to actually get into vision somewhere. And what he's basically playing is this game of crap Zerg versus Zerg, where you basically sit behind spines and infestors, and then you just destroy your opponent from behind. It's actually a very frustrating style, yeah.
I mean, does he even have a Spire? Is it going towards Broodlords? Or
no,
he's
not. He's just Slayer.
Infestors?
He's just infestors, just sitting behind spine crawlers, using Lings to come out, you know, in the Nidus Worm. There's a Nidus Worm being launched inside his opponent's main. Absolutely no reaction here so far.
Yeah, there's so much movement going around the map, actually. I'm kind of, I mean, Ling's running in here. They're actually not going to do anything there. Meanwhile, in that main, we do have some kind of gigantic attack. Holy crap. There goes your... Well, okay. Remember when I said one Infestor wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, look at that. The Hive's actually going to go down here. There's nothing coming to defend it. The Hive will fall down. The counterattack has been launched here, and this is where it gets so annoying. I've played this so many times. You sit there, you attack spines, you get fungal to death, and you actually lose so much here, and this is going to be a crazy war. The Hive is about to fall down. The Hive is gone, but now it's the defense of the balls.
And like I've said, I have a staunch policy not calling this, but I'll tell you what.
It's definitely in the lead for
No, see, you gotta be careful, man. Like, those infested Terrans seem to... I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Like, okay.
It's in the lead for CoCa. He picks up the victory there. Great solid defense there while killing the third base, while killing the Hive. And this is the frustration that every Zerg player has to run into. 200 supply versus 130 here. And this is looking really, really bad now. And SlayerSCoCa going through another player here. Even though the counterattack, the flanking reinforcements coming through. Look how many balls are left over here. Infested Terrans popping out. Spine crawlers coming down. There's no Hive. There's no long-term investment here. It's, hey, screw you. You are not coming past this wall.
Yeah, and CoCa went to the Zerg equivalent of IKEA and bought himself more spine crawlers because he actually has them laying around all over the place. Every base had its own personal forest of spine crawlers, so when this one died, he was like, okay, I'll bring him up from the back lines. There's the WW, and it looks like